We're back here 10 minutes past the hour. With the temps warming up, we're all going to be spending a little bit more time outside, and that does include our little pets too.
Veterinarian Matt Lindberg from Village Animal Hospital in Minnetonka here to answer some questions that we have on spring and summer pet care. Dr. Matt, good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Tell everybody who you have with you again.
This is my youngest dog, Max. So he just turned a year of age just a few weeks ago.
Very handsome boy.
Most well-behaved one-year-old we've ever had on the show.
We will see.
All right, so let's talk about dogs. People are getting their pets outside this time of year. I was just telling you that my dog Lloyd got into the trash the other day, and as punishment, he had to stay in the backyard for 5 hours. Is that too long to be leaving pets outside?
Not necessarily, because it really does depend on the weather. And what we have to think about with dogs, so dogs cool themselves through panting. So on a hot, humid day, they can really struggle that way, just like us if we can't sweat enough to cool ourselves down. So we need to think about temperature, you need to think about humidity, and the activity that you're doing. So a dog that's outside in the yard that has shade, that has water, that has places to kind of cool off, not that big of a deal. But if we're going to be out, say, on a boat all day, and we're in the sun all day, and it's hot and humid and that sort of thing, that can really kind of stress them out from a heat standpoint.
Is there any kind of illness or sickness they can get when it starts to get hotter out?
Yeah, so they can do the same thing we can with like heat stress and heat stroke and those sort of things that end up happening. So if they overheat, they just can't cool their bodies off as readily as we're supposed to. And then they can have issues where they can have organ shutdown, that sort of thing. About people that end up having, heat stroke, and it's an emergency situation. Same thing in dogs.
If you think your dog is like hot or maybe some of the early signs of heat stroke, I mean, what do? I'm thinking like their pads of their feet. Do you put them in cool water?
Yes, that's one of the best ways to end up doing things. So obviously get them out of the sun, get them out of the heat. So air conditioning, cool places, that sort of thing we want to end up doing. Cooling the feet, a good thing to end up doing. You don't want to dump cold water on them because it's actually going to kind of shock their system in that way.
Oh, sure.
But you really do want to get them into an environment where they can just calm down, because oftentimes they're panting really hard, and that almost makes it worse for them because that can bring their body temperature up too when they're trying to cool themselves. So they get themselves in this cycle of being overheated, panting hard, bring their temperature up, and you really have to reverse that. So if they're really stressed out, if they're vomiting, if they seem like they're not with it from a neurologic standpoint or behavior-wise, it's an emergency situation. You should go in because then they should be cooled with IV fluids. They should be hospitalized.
Let me ask you one more question in this regard. When your dog is panting, is there like a time frame in which your dog was active outside, you brought it inside, after about 20 minutes or 30 minutes, your dog should recover? If it goes longer than, is there a time frame? Is that a weird
It's a great question, and I guess there's not really a time frame, more just sort of the stress level that they're in. Because a dog panting, sometimes when they're nervous or that sort of thing, will end up happening. And Mac panted the whole way here, and it's not that he was overheating. He's just a little anxious about being here today.
Yeah.
But if your dog's really working hard, panting, if their eyes see almost kind of bulgy and have this look like they're just super stressed with it, that's when you really want to start to get worried. Versus a dog that just kind of come in, laying down, panting, and if they stop after 5 to 10 minutes, not that big of a deal. But I'm not going to say 20, 25 minutes, because that dog that comes in and pants for 10 minutes but is really stressed with it, that's still something really watch closely.
Okay.
Let's talk about, we talked about human seasonal allergies, but it sounds like it happens with the pets too.
Absolutely. So inhaled allergens, you think us having hay fever, watery eyes, sneezy, that sort of thing that goes on. Dogs typically manifest that as skin-related issues. So they'll get ear infections, they'll get rashes, they'll get super itchy, they'll chew at their feet. Those are the things that we typically end up seeing from most allergies that dogs run into.
What can you do for them then?
Yeah. So it's important, number one, to have a conversation with a veterinarian, because mild allergies, so a dog that is a little bit scratchy, that sort of thing, every once in a while, you might just kind of ride it out. Because the unfortunate reality of allergies like ours, we can't cure them. We're really looking kind of controlling those allergies. So number one, if you have severe issues, your dog has a rash or skin infection or an ear issue, you should see your veterinarian. At home, things you might think about. So on real kind of high pollen days, staying inside, having the windows shut, that sort of thing can help, just like it's going to help our own allergies. If your dog does go out, washing their feet or giving the bath, get those pollens and things that are on the surface, get them off. Antihistamines, over-the-counter antihistamines can have some benefit for some dogs, but again, ask your veterinarian about the dose, ask your veterinarian if there's any other medications that might be more appropriate, because I find for a lot of dogs, if they're super itchy, an antihistamine is not going to be enough to catch up with that itchiness. We probably need a prescription medication to help them out.
Okay, so nothing really over-the-counter or like natural remedy that you think really helps other than like the shower? The shower,
fish oils may have some benefit to reduce some itchiness as well and help the oils on the level of skin. Like I said, over-the-counter antihistamines, yes, but in consultation with your veterinarian.
Okay. I wondered about the oils and the dry skin, because our dog goes in the backyard and then rolls in his back and comes in with all kinds of grass, but he only does it this time of year, which makes me think he probably has mild allergies.
Yes, he does.
Sorry, Lloyd. See what we can do. Hose you off after you come inside every time?
Doesn't have to be every time.
Okay.
Just every
You
once
could
in a
use a
while.
wet towel. Keep a wet
Yeah,
towel.
there we
Just
go.
wipe them off. What are some other, you were talking, you guys get really busy this time of year because people are getting back on their flea and tick medicine too.
Exactly. Everybody thinks once it gets warm out that now fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, all those sort of things are now out in the environment. And
Yep.
it is important right now to really be thinking about that. But I'll be honest with you. Ticks are really a year-round issue in Minnesota now. So when it's February and it's 50 degrees and there's areas where there's not snow on the ground, ticks are going to be out. So, and that seems weird because
Yeah.
15 years ago I might not have said that. But we've had the last 2 winters we have people pulling ticks off dogs in February. So
No kidding.
we do recommend doing flea and tick prevention on a year-round basis.
Okay.
Intestinal parasites. So hookworms, roundworms, whipworms, tapeworms, dogs that go to dog parks, dogs that eat things that they should not out in the yard. If you have wildlife that comes through, we want to cover for that. And the heartworm pill you give actually deworms for those other things as well. So that's something else you want to do on a real consistent basis to avoid those issues. 'Cause it's better off kind of being proactive than reactionary. And we can't forget about cats. So outdoor cats that hunt and that sort of thing, they'll get parasites, they can get heartworm, they'll get fleas, so covering them too is super important.
And it's easy. Some of the pills include multiple layers of protection for
Correct.
different types of things. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're giving your dog a ton of medication. Sometimes it's just one pill a month.
Exactly. So there's multiple things you can end up giving. There is for fleas and tick now, there's an injection that's out there that lasts for a full 12-month time period, so you don't even have to think about it for that full year's period. One thing to think about, so the once monthly heartworm pills, people always worry if I'm doing these medications on a monthly basis, there's some sort of buildup in the system or that sort of thing, and that's not how they work. A heartworm pill, when you give it, it actually goes in and deworms. So anything that's in the body, it takes care of, and within about 24 hours, it's actually out of the system. So it doesn't actually prevent going forward. Now, a flea and tick product, you give that product, say, on the first of the month, you then get protection from that day going forward. So they kind of work in opposite directions, which is always a little bit tricky for people to think about in that regard.
All right, let's talk swimming. Let's talk lakes and rivers and streams and ponds. And I see
Yes.
Mac has a little life jacket on.
Yes, so we like to, go to cabins, we like to boat. So our dogs do wear life jackets, which is great because when we get them in the water, we beach at a sandbar, they get out and kind of swim around. 2 things. One is that it's going to keep them afloat because they're not necessarily fantastic swimmers, my little ones. 2, it's a bright color, so you can kind of see it in the water. So we have this one, we have a bright yellow one, we have a bright red one. The other nice part, it's got a handle on the top. So we need to lift them back into the boat. You're just kind of picking them up and going from there.
Little suitcase.
So we get them used to swimming. So it's not that you just throw them off the deep end and wish them good luck. You kind of want to allow them to wade in and that sort of thing. But things to think about, just like us swimming, if you're in a place where there's a strong current, if there's a lot of boat traffic or waves or that sort of things going through where they may actually get swamped, you want to be very cautious in those sort of circumstances. And then other things to think about, if your dog's drinking a whole bunch of water, it can predispose them to having issues like intestinal parasites that they can pick up. And then there's something called blue-green algae. So a lot of lakes, ice out happened earlier this year. That water temperature is probably going to be a little bit warmer as we get to the summer. Blue-green algae is a bacteria that can cause toxic issues. It looks almost like spilled paint on the surface of the water. So it's not like duckweed that you see on a typical pond, but it's like this murky, greenish kind of color that sits there, probably has a smell to it. You absolutely want to avoid your dog going in those sort of conditions. And if they do somehow run into it, you need to go see a veterinarian as soon as possible.
Well, Dr. Matt, thank
geez.
you. I had a question about my dog that just absolutely loses its mind during thunderstorms, but we're out of time, so we'll save that for another
Next
time.
time.
And
Sounds good.
She is a lunatic.
I'll share some of Lloyd's medicine with you. He gets that way for
That
the
the
fourth.
medicine has not worked. We have tried everything. If you have questions about your pet, make sure to ask your vet, and we'll post contact information for Matt and the team at Village Animal Hospital in Minnetonka on MinnesotaLive.com.
I'm kidding. I can't share vet medicine with you.
I know you
That's
can't.
against the rules.
But I just said they don't help her anyway.